There is no better feeling than unboxing a new Apple product. The relaxing, elegant motion of letting the box slide down is just, well, perfect. Apple always innovates and creates the most iconic devices, driving and dominating the market. Everyone seems to own an iPhone. You probably have an iPhone in your pocket or out in front of you right now. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you buy from Apple? Well, Apple products can be great, but most people don't realize just how greedy they are, how Apple stoops to anti-consumer practices and illegal forms of labor just to maximize their profit. This is the problem with Apple. Have you ever noticed how just when the new iPhone comes out, your old phone seems to be performing much worse, losing battery much more quickly and running much more slowly? Well, Apple actually did this on purpose. A couple years ago, Apple revealed their battery gate, coming forward about their planned obsolescence of older products. Apple says they were just trying to compensate for the natural degradation of older hardware with the requirements of newer software, but the fact that they only came out about this after people started noticing this issue makes them really suspicious. If they had good intentions, why didn't they announce this change initially? The real reason for this planned obsolescence was probably just to encourage people to buy more of their new phones. Batterygate was actually just their most subtle form of getting more money out of you. With the release of the iPhone 7, Apple shocked the world with removal of the 3.5mm audio jack, a change that is horrible for the consumers. Everyone relied on and still relies on the 3.5mm audio jack for most purposes because connected audio is cheaper, more readily available, and also can allow for more high quality audio with less latency. Apple claimed that this change allowed for increased battery life and slimmer devices, but neither of these changes happened as a direct result of the removal of the port. And in fact, their phones are still thick enough to fit an audio jack comfortably. So why did they do this, you might ask? Well, to take more money from you. What a coincidence that Apple's new, seamlessly connecting and convenient wireless AirPods came out at the exact same time. It was the perfect, expensive solution to the problem they created. Sure, you didn't have to buy their AirPods, but who wants to have to use these annoying, fragile, easy to lose dongles? I mean, they're called dongles. Honestly, Apple products are also truly overpriced. As stated by Dave Smith from Business Insider, the value of their products doesn't necessarily increase over time, especially in comparison to similar phones in the market. It's clear that Apple doesn't need to have these ridiculous prices for the performance of their newer products. Even worse, just recently, they've decided to stop providing the charging brick and the earbuds within the box. Apple claims that this is for environmental reasons. They said they hope this would eliminate unnecessary waste. But not many people have the USB-C charging power adapters, so they'll still need to buy the products, only now it'll come in external packaging with even more waste and even more fees. But if you look at what I've said in another way, you could applaud Apple for being the incredibly effective money-making organization that they are. Besides, these anti-consumer changes are really just first world problems that don't even affect more wealthy people. But there's still a great problem with Apple. In an effort to minimize costs for the most profit, Apple has resorted to truly unethical labor practices. Let's take a look at one factory in Shenzhen, where 430,000 people worked to manufacture devices under Foxconn and under Apple.
While the average worker building electronics in the US today makes over $23 an hour and works 41 hours a week, most of the people at Foxconn earn just over $2 an hour and a 60-hour work week. These people are all too easy to exploit. And ever since 18 Foxconn workers jumped from these buildings, Apple has been accused of doing just that.
Or take a look at Apple's labor in the DR Congo, where mining for their cobalt was found to be linked to human rights abuses, corruption, environmental devastation, and child labor. One child was mining when the tunnel collapsed and he was buried alive. One fell down a tunnel and was permanently paralyzed from the chest down. So what did Apple do? They applauded Foxconn for their remedial measures after the wave of suicides and have claimed to already have removed 6 cobalt refiners. But is that all? They took action, sure, but only after the news got out, only after the suicides gained attention, and only after they got hit with a lawsuit for the mines. So what about the labor we don't hear about? What about the mines or the factories that we don't know about? How can we even trust them to no longer be sourcing their materials and production from unethical means of labor when such cheap labor allows them to maximize their profit? I mean, just last year, Apple was found breaking Chinese labor law again. 40% of their workforce wasn't guaranteed sick or holiday pay, and they could have been laid off at any moment. Apple isn't the only company guilty of such behavior. The same mines provided the cobalt for Google, Microsoft, and Dell, and Google was sued too. My point at the end is this. Apple serves as a notable example of a tech company that shouldn't be supported as much as they are. Apple, one of the most popular companies with a generally better reputation, is still deeply affected by corporate greed, to the point where their number one priority is clearly not the general consumer. All tech companies should be devoted to making people's lives better. The whole point of technology is to make our lives easier and more enjoyable. Sadly, many of the biggest tech companies out there are too engrossed by the potential profits and will do anything to achieve those profits. I hope that this video will make you change from Apple to another company, but I hope this video informs you of some of the problems of tech companies like Apple. So maybe next time you think twice before committing to buying or supporting such tech companies.